What's up, everybody? My name is Cole Hatter, and I am so excited that you are here and that you are a part of this program. I've been working my butt off to make it excellent for you, and I just want to say congratulations for getting started. You know, real estate investing is one of the most coveted industries in the world. Count how many reality shows there are around real estate, buying and selling homes. Anywhere I go in public where I'm stuck next to a stranger, like on an airplane, right, where it's like, hey, what do you do? Whenever I get asked that question, I know I got to set aside at least 20 minutes because they're going to ask me 500 questions. Hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm a real estate investor. Oh, really? Well, I've always wanted to invest in real estate. And then they start drilling me for 20 minutes because they're interested in it. Everybody's interested in it. And then I always ask one follow-up question after being drilled. I say, hey, if you're that interested in investing in real estate, why aren't you doing it personally? And there are really three main reasons they don't. Number one, they don't know how to get the money. Number two, they don't know how to get deals. And number three, they don't know how to structure them. And so when I'm having these conversations with people literally thousands of times a year who have always wanted to invest in real estate but don't, those seem to be the three big pitfalls. I don't have any money, right? Or I have some money, but I don't have to be doing real estate. Number two, I have no idea where to find a deal. There's millions of homes in America or hundreds of millions of homes around the world. How do I know how to get the right one? And then the last one is, okay, let's say I had money. Let's say I have a deal. I don't know how I would structure it. And so that's what this whole program is going to be about. We are going to teach you how to wholesale houses, which is the fastest way to make money investing in real estate, period. It's even faster than real estate agents. Some realtors and I like to arm wrestle on this subject, but even if a realtor got a listing, listed that house for sale, and got a same-day cash offer, it's still going to take them through how they get paid through their brokers. And shout out to the realtors. I am a licensed real estate agent, so I'm not knocking their industry. But it's weeks at best before a real estate agent gets paid from the day that they get hired to do a listing and sign a listing agreement to the day that they sell the property and actually get a commission check cut to them. It's weeks at best. I can get paid within 7 days from finding a deal, putting it under contract, signing it like we're going to teach you in here, and actually getting cashed out here in California. I could do that within a 7-day period. Now, around the country, for those of you that are tuning in from other states, or around the world, of course, you could have a different process. But here's the point. It is the most straightforward, fastest way to make money investing in real estate, period. There isn't a better way. Now, when it comes to wholesaling specifically, like we're going to talk about in this series, you can wholesale a lot of things. You can wholesale houses, you can wholesale land, you can wholesale commercial real estate. We're going to talk about how to negotiate, how to put them under contract, and how to assign them legally. So it's going to be an exciting journey we have. When people see the success that I'm having in real estate, the question I get asked a lot is, well, how do I get started? And it's very simple. Like, let's forget real estate. Let's pretend I'm a doctor. And you're like, you know what, Cole, you've got this big medical practice. You've got all these clients, and you're this awesome doctor. You're Dr. Oz on TV. I want to be a doctor. What do I do? What's the obvious first step? Go to medical school. Don't worry about creating a medical office, and don't worry about trying to get a daytime reality TV show or whatever, his daytime show, whatever Dr. Oz has. Go become a doctor first. Let's say I'm a dentist, and you're like, Cole, your dental practice is fantastic. Cool. What's the first step of being a dentist? Going to dental school. So when people come up to me and they say, yo, Cole, I've always wanted to invest in real estate. How do I get started? Same answer. You got to learn. Now, here's the catch for real estate investing. There isn't an actual program like doctors go to medical school, dentists go to dental school, real estate investors, school of hard knocks for many of them. And that's why people out there lose their butts in real estate. A little statistic to share with you. Over 73% of people that start a real estate investment business quit within their first year, 95% within their first 5 years because they couldn't figure out how to make money. Then there are some of us that before we get started take a second to learn what we should do correct from day one, and then all of a sudden we're the ones that people tell stories about. And so I'm going to share with you what I've done to make millions of dollars in my own business. I've been investing for 12 years. I guess I should take a second to more thoroughly introduce myself. Again, I said my name's Cole Hatter, but I am a full-time real estate investor. I have been doing this since 2005, so that's about 12 years now. And, I've made money and I've lost money. And from my real-life experience of doing deals and deals and deals and making hundreds of thousands in certain deals, millions total, and even losing hundreds of thousands on deals too. We'll talk about some of those stories as well. I believe that you can learn from some of my successes and some of my failures. And again, in these last 12 years, I've invested over 6 figures into my education, being mentored by people who are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year. So I was in the position financially in these last probably 5 or 6 years to invest over 200 grand into my personal growth and development, and having experts in real estate investing teach me. You know what you invested to be a part of this program. It's not 200 grand, but I'm going to take what I learned from them and what I learned in the real life of actually doing deals out there. I'm in the middle of transactions right now. I'm in the middle of doing the deal that's going to be the most profitable deal of my career, comparatively for what I put in and what I'm getting back. Like proportionately, I'm in the most successful deal of my career right now, right? So I'm a real life real estate investor. I'm going to talk about what I've learned from the men and women who have taught me, who some of which are making hundreds of millions a year. I'm also going to talk about my own personal experience being out there. And I want you to know that I'm here to support you in this journey. We opened this group up for about 20 days last year, just as a beta test group to see how people would do. And the success stories are insane. I'm sure you probably already saw a few of the testimonials. If you haven't, you're going to want to join the Facebook group and you'll see them posting pictures of their checks. This is the real deal. And I'm here to assist you and to guide you. The best way to get a hold of me is through the Facebook group. Just write some comments in there. Another way is through my social media. You can go ahead and send me messages on Snapchat. I think that's probably the fastest way I communicate with members of this group is via like Snapchat messages. I do respond a lot to Facebook messages as well, but I always have my phone on me, and the only social media that I manage personally, I have a team on the other side of this wall that does things like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all that, but the one that I personally manage is Snapchat. All my social media channels are just at Cole Hatter. That is Cole, Hatter. That's everything. That's Twitter, that's Facebook, that's Instagram, and that's Snapchat. Look me up. That's a great way to engage with me on the fly. And then by being a member of this group, don't forget that you are going to get access to the Facebook group. I do live training videos in there, and I end the training with live Q&A, so we'll have a chance to read your questions and respond directly. But really, follow me on Snapchat or Twitter or something like that's probably the best thing to do. You can also send me an email. This takes longer to respond to, but you can send an email to ask@attendthrive. I guess I can do that. ask@attendthrive.com. And as you can imagine, I do get a lot of emails here, ask@attendthrive.com, but we sort through them and answer them as quickly as we can. I usually answer them live videos via YouTube or whatever it is. So that's me. That's how to get a hold of me. The reason I share this with you is because I'm really here to support you guys. I, every single day, answer questions from my group. Some days it might just be 2 or 3 minutes, right? I'm downstairs, I'm about to go out to dinner with my sexy wife, and like most women, she's taking an extra minute or 2 to finish her hair, and I'm just sitting on the couch waiting. I'll pull out my Snapchat, answer 5 or 6 questions right there. So I legitimately do answer questions 7 days a week. Again, it might just be 2 minutes waiting for my wife. Sometimes I literally set an hour aside and just sit there and boom, 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 answer questions. So reach out to me. I'd love to help you. Again, there's a private Facebook group that you should have access to now as well. What I'd like to wrap this video up is just giving you realistic expectations. I talk about how this is the fastest way to make money in real estate because it really is. However, like anything else, it takes work. If wholesaling houses was easy, who would do it? Everybody. So it's not easy, but it's not complicated. What's the difference? Let's talk about math, like algebra, for instance. Algebra is not easy. Now, some of you might be super good at math, and you're like, please, Cole, I do algebra in my sleep. Well, God bless you. But for most of us, algebra isn't easy. But if you learn the equations, like remember the formulas, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, is that right? Please excuse me. Parentheses, exponents, whatever. It's been a while since I've had to do algebra. But when you learn the formula, guess what? It's never easy. But it's not complicated. You just follow the formula, okay? P is parentheses, and you at the end of maybe 5 to 10 minutes of working on one problem, you get the right answer because you followed the process. You followed the system. Wholesaling is the exact same way. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Good news is it's not easy because then the riffraff doesn't get involved, right? If it was easy, every person in the world would be a wholesaler. It would be so competitive and saturated, it would be a nightmare. Good news is, because it's not easy, a lot of people try on their own. They watch a one YouTube video. They don't invest in a course like this. They go out there, they try, and they fail. But it's not complicated when you have the formulas, when you have the systems, when you have the processes in place, and that's exactly what we're going to teach you in this course. I'm super excited. I'm super fired up to share that with you. And what we're going to focus on in this course are really three things. I'll share that with you right now. I shared it in the beginning of this video, but I'll just for the sake of writing it, we're going to talk about how to find deals. What deal's a winner? What deal isn't? And when it comes to wholesaling specifically, what type of deal makes the most sense? You can wholesale a $50 million mansion. You can wholesale a $5,000 shack. But what's the sweet spot? What makes the most sense? We're going to talk about how to find deals. Then, now that you're finding deals, guess what you might need? Some money. So, we're going to teach you how to fund deals. Now, notice I say you might need money. I have wholesaled deals before where I used zero money. I've wholesaled deals where I had to use other people's money, zero of my own money. We call those private lenders, hard money lenders, and we're going to teach you that in this program as well. So, here's some good news. When it comes to wholesaling, it's the least amount of capital needed to actually real estate invest, to be investing in real estate. A lot of deals you'll need no money. Some deals you might need a few hundred to a few $1,000s, and if that's a stretch for you, there are also things called lenders where we're going to teach you in this program how to use other people's money to do real estate transactions. So we will teach you how to fund deals. I want to remind you, not all of them will need money, but for those that do, how to use your or someone else's money. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is how to structure the deals. How to structure deals. When it comes to wholesaling, there are legal and ethical and correct ways to do it, and then there are illegal, unethical, incorrect ways to do it. We're going to talk about how to structure deals in a way that you are profitable and not getting in trouble accidentally. I see that a lot out there. I'm not trying to freak you out or scare you, but I see a lot of people out there that have good intentions, that aren't trying to break any rules, that start investing in real estate, and guess what they end up doing? Accidentally crossing one of those invisible lines. The way that they raised money violated the SEC, that's the Security Exchange Commission. The way that they're promising things online violates the FTC, right? So, FCC, excuse me. So the point is, when it comes to being compliant, you got to structure deals the correct way. Now, the good news is when you know how to do this, you don't have to worry about anything. I don't want you to have fear like, oh my gosh, am I going to accidentally get in trouble? Well, you could accidentally get in trouble if you don't take the time to learn this. And then as a bonus, because everyone likes a bonus, so I guess we can call this the fourth section, we're going to talk about tax and asset protection. Now, I'm going to use a lot of disclaimers throughout this entire course. I'll use one right now. I'm not an attorney, and I'm not an accountant. So I am not here to give you any tax or legal advice. I'm going to tell you what you can do, but what you should do should come from a professional, if that makes sense. So as I share with you what an LLC is, what an S corporation is, what a C corporation is, and some tax-saving strategies that we have as real estate investors, I am just sharing with you what is available to you if you want it. I am not telling you what you should personally do, because we're different people living in different parts of the country or world, and there might be different things we need to do to get the same result of protecting our assets and saving in taxes. That's a goal. We all want to protect our assets, right? Once you start making money in this, where are you going to stick all that money? Where are you going to go buy rental real estate? You're going to go invest in a home that you and your family live in. You're going to buy yourself some cars. Why wouldn't you? Now all of a sudden you got assets. Guess what people out there want to do? They want to come to your Christmas party, slip and fall down your stairs and say, well, I'll just sue you and take all of it. So what's the point of being incentivized to make a ton of money and be successful if the wrong person can sue you and take it all? Well, there's preparatory work, and there's protecting assets and covering assets ahead of time. We're going to talk about that in this program. One last disclaimer, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you what you can do, and what you should do should come from an attorney. So that was a longer introduction video than I thought it would be. Again, I'm Cole, super excited to walk you through this next few weeks with you guys, or a few months, depending on what pace you go. I will give one more, I don't want to say disclaimer, but one more reminder that this is like you've joined a gym. And if you go to the gym 1 day a week for an hour, you may get some results. If you go to the gym 5 days a week for an hour, you're going to get more results, right? Same is true with this. If you plug in and follow the process and follow the formula of how to watch these videos and implement what you're learning, you will have success. I guarantee you, if you do what we teach you in this video, you will have success. Now, I can't guarantee you how quickly that will happen because I don't know what type of action you take. You could watch this video and not even get to the second video for 6 more weeks. Sucks for you. You procrastinated while everyone else in this group's off making money. But the reality is, if you do, actually do everything that we teach you in this video, I guarantee you over time you will do a deal. Some of you might get a deal done in your first few weeks. Others of you might get a deal done in your first few months. Some of you may be, oh, I just got married, I'm a little bit busy, and you might do it next year. Cool. But it is impossible, it is mathematically impossible for you to use the marketing campaigns and all of the strategies I'm going to teach you in this course consistently like I'm going to teach you in this course and never get a phone call back that actually turns into a deal. It might take you 500 phone calls. But if you stay consistent, I'm really making this worst case scenario. If you get 500 phone calls and haven't gotten a deal yet, you're screwing something up, right? You're like speaking the wrong language on the phone or something. But if you consistently do the marketing I'm going to teach you, your phone will ring, and like anything else, it's a numbers game. There will be a person on the other side that calls you that says, yes, I'd like to do this deal with you, and you will make money. Just have the endurance and the dedication to follow through. Maybe set up some accountability. Definitely get access to the Facebook group. That's where we hold each other accountable. And then again, I'm here to help you out. One last time, this is my social media, Cole Hatter, or ask@10thrive.com, and I'm happy to help you as much one-on-one as I can. We've got a lot of group trainings, of course, videos like this, but this is where you get me one-on-one as well. So thank you guys for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And one last time, congratulations on being a part of this program. Working very hard on this for you guys. And I guess one last little credibility piece. I have taught this subject on stage hundreds of times. This is the first time I've ever done it in video format, but I have literally stood in rooms of people teaching them how to do what you're going to learn in this program live from stage hundreds of times to hundreds of thousands of people altogether. I know this stuff. The good news about video format is you can press pause, you can press rewind. You can't do that when I'm on stage, so I'm really excited to see your success. Here's the scene at the top. What's up, everybody? It's Cole again. I wanted to give you some basic pointers on how to name your real estate investment business. With the very next section, like we just talked about a second ago, is going to be how to find deals, fund deals, structure deals, etc. Down here, the bonus section of this program will talk to you about what type of entity to use. Should it be an LLC? Should it be an S corporation? Should it be a C corporation? Or should it be a sole proprietor? But in the meantime, I realize, you know what? You're probably going to want to start thinking about a name even before you incorporate. And I'll just give you a little tip because this section might be 50 videos away from now. You should not be doing deals in your own name. You do not want to be a real estate investor, putting properties in your own name, operating as a sole proprietor. I'm not an attorney, I'm not an accountant, so I can't give you legal or accounting advice. However, as a friend, if you put a house in your name to flip and something goes wrong, you're personally liable. You don't have any protection from a business called the corporate veil. So, as a friendly tip, before you get into the asset and tax videos up ahead, remember that you don't want to do this in your own name. So what should you name your business? Let me give you a couple of tips. Number one, do not name your business after yourself. Anonymity is important in real estate. Say that word 10 times fast. That's a fun word to say, right? Anonymity. That means being anonymous. So I would never call my real estate investment business Hatter Homes or the Hatter Group. I do own the Hatter Group LLC, but there aren't business cards for it. There's not a website for it. It's just kind of the mothership that operates many of my subsidiary companies, right? But as a real estate investor, you don't want to name it after yourself. Why? Because everyone knows real estate investors have money. And by putting your name everywhere, all over your brand and all over your houses, another project done by Cole Hatter, oh man, people are going to try to come after you more so than they already will. You have a 1 in 4 chance of being sued already in at least America. Some of you are watching this from other countries, but in America, you have a 1 in 4 chance of being sued. You're just asking for trouble if you name your company after yourself. So number one, do not name it after yourself. So what should you do is name it around something that's obvious. There are people that are like, oh, cool, I'm going to call my real estate group PAT group. And I'm like, PAT group? What is that? Parents and Teacher Association group? What do you mean? And they're like, oh, no, my name's Paul, my other buddy's Andrew, and this is Tom, so PAT group. That's not clear enough. You want it to be specific, like Elite Homes or I don't know, I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head. I live in Southern California, so SoCal Homes, right? Or we call this the Golden Coast, Gold Coast Homes, right? Or something that makes it sound really cool, like I said, Elite Homes. You could call it Top Class Homes. I'm just making this crap up. You get the point. Something that is very obvious: homes, houses, properties. I even hesitate to use the word investments, just so you guys know. To say like Elite Home Investments, it kind of niches you down. Whereby just saying Elite Homes or Elite Properties, and I'm just using elite because again it's a cool word. Any synonym for elite or beautiful or luxury or just go get a thesaurus out and put in words like beautiful, luxury, high end, classy, anything, classy homes, right? So I would recommend not using the acronym of you and all your children and your dogs, and it's like, oh look, it spells something. It spells a group. Well, nobody knows what you do. And so when you hand someone your business card, assuming you use them, or someone lands on your website and they say, this is a group, they have no idea what you do. But when it says SoCal Homes, LLC, pretty darn obvious that you buy homes in Southern California. So you want your name to be as obvious as you possibly can. Here's another tip. You're going to want to, before you name your company, look up to see if your company name is available. You can do that on any state. It's called the Secretary of State, but Google's even more friendly than that. So watch this. Go to Google and say, I live in California, so I would put California business name availability, enter, or California business name search, enter. And the Secretary of State is going to be one of the first things that comes up. You click on it, and then if you look around for a second, you're going to say a search for an entity, and then it's going to say look for existing business or see if a name's available. I just literally did this for a new company I started. You click see if a new name's available, and you put in SoCal Homes, LLC, enter, and it's going to say nope. John Smith owns that since 2002, or it will say available. So that was just a quick tip on naming your business before you even get into all the goods of finding deals, funding deals, structuring deals, tax and asset protection. Before we get into all the nuts and bolts, start thinking about what you want to name your name. My suggestion is name your company. My suggestion is don't use your personal name. I know that could be like an ego bragging thing. Like you see that it says Hatter Group, and I'm Mr. Hatter. Table for two. Okay, that sounds cool, but now everybody wants to sue you because they know you own it. Oh, and that's another thing. When we get into negotiations, which we'll do later in this program, you never want to be where the buck stops, right? I own every business I run, yet I never make any of my own decisions. I say, oh, man, I appreciate that. Well, I'm going to have to take this up to the boss, or I'm going to have to take this to the partner. Always have someone to defer to. So if I'm like, hi, I'm Cole Hatter of Cole Hatter Investments, and they're like, cool, Cole, here's my final offer. I'm like, ooh, gotta take that to the boss. They'll be like, what are you talking about? It says your name on your business card. It says your name on the side of your car right there. It says your name on your shirt, Hatter Group, whatever. So don't name your business after yourself from an anonymity standpoint and a negotiation standpoint. It gives you leverage to not be the boss. It's called limited authority. I'm going to teach this later. This is a real negotiation tactic, so you're getting a little juicy tip up front. It's called limited authority, and it's a powerful position to not be the decision maker and say, hey, listen, I appreciate your offer. Let me know if that's your absolute best, because I got to take this to the decision makers, to the boss, to the partner, to the whoever, to the attorney. I got to take this to the decision makers, and I don't want to, if you've got better than that, let me know, because if they shut this down, this could be your one shot. That is such a powerful position. Okay, so don't name it after yourself. What should you name it after? You should name it after something that's very obvious of what it is that you're doing. And before you fall in love with the name, you're like, yes, I'm going to be Dallas Home Properties or whatever. And you're like, whoa. And then you go and Google it. And that, I mean, I guarantee you Dallas Homes, comma, LLC is gone because it's too obvious. So you're going to have to get a little bit creative. Like Luxury Homes Dallas or Beautiful Homes Dallas or you guys get it, Elite Homes, Elite Coast Homes, something like that. For me, because I live here coastally. If you live in a mountain range, like you're doing this in Denver, Colorado, you know, you could say something about the mountains, right? So I'd say Elite Coast Homes. You could say something there. Okay, that was it for a tip on how to name your business. Let's get into this, you guys. Let's get into the next video.
So perfect.
What's up, everybody? It's Cole again. I wanted to give you some basic pointers on how to name your real estate investment business. With the very next section, like we just talked about a second ago, is going to be how to find deals, fund deals, structure deals, etc. Down here, the bonus section of this program will talk to you about what type of entity to use. Should it be an LLC? Should it be an S corporation? Should it be a C corporation? Or should it be a sole proprietor? But in the meantime, I realized, you know what? You're probably going to want to start thinking about a name even before you incorporate. And I'll just give you a little tip because this section might be 50 videos away from now. You should not be doing deals in your own name. You do not want to be a real estate investor, putting properties in your own name, operating as a sole proprietor. I'm not an attorney, I'm not an accountant, so I can't give you legal or accounting advice. However, as a friend, if you put a house in your name to flip and something goes wrong, you're personally liable. You don't have any protection from a business called a corporate veil. So, as a friendly tip, before you get into the asset and tax videos up ahead, remember that you don't want to do this in your own name. So, what should you name your business? Let me give you a couple of tips. Number one, do not name your business after yourself. Anonymity is important in real estate. Say that word 10 times fast. That's a fun word to say, right? Anonymity. That means being anonymous. So I would never call my real estate investment business Hatter Homes or the Hatter Group. I do own the Hatter Group LLC, but there aren't business cards for it. There's not a website for it. It's just kind of the mothership that operates many of my subsidiary companies, right? But as a real estate investor, you don't want to name it after yourself. Why? Because everyone knows real estate investors have money. And by putting your name everywhere, all over your brand and all over your houses, another project done by Cole Hatter, oh man, people are going to try to come after you more so than they already will. You have a 1 in 4 chance of being sued already in at least America. Some of you are watching this from other countries. But in America, you have a 1 in 4 chance of being sued. You're just asking for trouble if you name your company after yourself. So number one, do not name it after yourself. So what should you do is name it around something that's obvious. There are people who are like, oh, cool, I'm going to call my real estate group PAT group. And I'm like, PAT group? What is that? Parents and Teacher Association group? What do you mean? And they're like, oh, no, my name's Paul. My other buddy's Andrew, and this is Tom, so PAT group. That's not clear enough. You want it to be specific, like Elite Homes or I don't know. I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head. I live in Southern California, so SoCal Homes, right? Or we call this the Golden Coast, Gold Coast Homes, right? Or something that makes it sound really cool, like I said, Elite Homes. You could call it Top Class Homes. I'm just making this crap up. You get the point. Something that is very obvious: homes, houses, properties. I even hesitate to use the word investments, just so you guys know, to say like Elite Home Investments. It kind of niches you down, whereby just saying Elite Homes or Elite Properties, and I'm just using elite because, again, it's a cool word. Any synonym for elite or beautiful or luxury or just go get a thesaurus out and put in words like beautiful, luxury, high-end, classy, anything, classy homes, right? So I would recommend not using the acronym of you and all your children and your dogs, and it's like, oh, look, it spells something. It spells a group. Well, nobody knows what you do. And so when you hand someone your business card, assuming you use them, or someone lands on your website and they say, this is a group, they have no idea what you do. But when it says SoCal Homes, LLC, pretty darn obvious that you buy homes in Southern California. So you want your name to be as obvious as you possibly can. Here's another tip. You're going to want to, before you name your company, look up to see if your company name is available. You can do that on any state. It's called the Secretary of State, but Google's even more friendly than that. So watch this. Go to Google and say, I live in California, so I would put California business name availability, enter, or California business name search, enter. And the Secretary of State is going to be one of the first things that comes up. You click on it, and then if you look around for a second, you're going to say a search for an entity, and then it's going to say look for existing business or see if a name's available. I just literally did this for a new company I started. You click see if a new name's available, and you put in SoCal Homes, LLC, enter, and it's going to say nope. John Smith owns that since 2002, or it will say available. So that was just a quick tip on naming your business before we even get into all the goods of finding deals, funding deals, structuring deals, tax and asset protection. Before we get into all the nuts and bolts, start thinking about what you want to name your name. My suggestion is name your company. My suggestion is don't use your personal name. I know that could be like an ego bragging thing. Like, you see that? It says Hatter Group, and I'm Mr. Hatter. Table for two. Okay, that sounds cool, but now everybody wants to sue you because they know you own it. Oh, and that's another thing. When we get into negotiations, which we'll do later in this program, you never want to be where the buck stops, right? I own every business I run, yet I never make any of my own decisions. I say, oh, man, I appreciate that. Well, I'm going to have to take this up to the boss, or I'm going to have to take this to the partner. Always have someone defer to. So if I'm like, hi, I'm Cole Hatter of Cole Hatter Investments, and they're like, cool, Cole, here's my final offer. I'm like, ooh, gotta take that to the boss. They'll be like, what are you talking about? It says your name on your business card. It says your name on the side of your car right there. It says your name on your shirt, Hatter Group, whatever. So don't name your business after yourself from an anonymity standpoint and a negotiation standpoint. It gives you leverage to not be the boss. It's called limited authority. I'm going to teach this later. This is a real negotiation tactic, so you're getting a little juicy tip up front. It's called limited authority, and it's a powerful position to not be the decision maker and say, hey, listen, I appreciate your offer. Let me know if that's your absolute best, because I got to take this to the decision makers, to the boss, to the partner, to the whoever, to the attorney. I got to take this to the decision makers, and I don't want to, if you've got better than that, let me know, because they shut this down. This could be your one shot. That is such a powerful position. Okay, so don't name it after yourself. What should you name it after? You should name it after something that's very obvious of what it is that you're doing. And before you fall in love with the name, you're like, yes, I'm going to be Dallas Home Properties or whatever. And you're like, whoa. And then you go and Google it. And I guarantee you Dallas Homes, LLC is gone because it's too obvious. So you're going to have to get a little bit creative. Like Luxury Homes Dallas or Beautiful Homes Dallas or you guys get it, Elite Homes, Elite Coast Homes, something like that for me because I live here coastally. If you live in a mountain range like you're doing this in Denver, Colorado, you could say something about the mountains, right? So I'd say elite coast homes. You could say something there. Okay, that was it for a tip on how to name your business. Let's get into this, you guys. Let's get into the next video.
That's true.
What's up, everyone? It's Cole again. Let's talk about how to pick a strategy. When it comes to investing in real estate, there's a lot of different ways to make money. So let's call it picking a strategy. The first thing we should note when it comes to picking a strategy, big picture focusing in, is what type of money you want to make in real estate investing, right? So let's go 50,000 foot overview. Okay, there's this whole big industry of real estate investing. What type of money do I want to make? And there are three types of income or money you can make investing in real estate. The first is called active income. And that's what this program is all about. Active income is income that requires an activity. For instance, when I wholesale a house, I just got paid. When I buy, fix, and flip a house, I just got paid. So it's an action that results in income, active income. The second type of income when investing in real estate is called passive income. Now, passive income I really enjoy because that's doing something once and getting paid for life. For instance, I buy a rental property and now the first of every month I'm collecting passive income from my tenant. So what I would recommend you focus on is number one, active income. Wholesale a bunch of houses, then all of a sudden check your bank account balance and say, oh my gosh, I've got $500,000 cash sitting in a checking account. Inflation is eroding at that buying power. It's just pissing away. I need to do something with it. Then go invest it in some passive income properties to turn that active income. First of all, pay your bills. So let me slow down. Active income is what you live off of. You flip a house, now you got money to buy groceries, put gas in your car, and pay your mortgage. But as you grow this active income business, this is your 9 to 5, so to speak, as you're out there flipping one house a year, then 5 houses a year, then 50 houses a year. Now all of a sudden, you've got all this money coming in. Don't be a let me edit myself. Don't be a donkey out there and go and just go buy a bunch of crap. Always invest it into passive income. I don't want to say work for free, right? Where you're like, wait, Cole, I can't go buy my dream car. No, buy your dream car, have fun. But what a lot of people out there do is they take every active dollar they've earned, whether it be through their business, their jobs, flipping houses, etc., and they spend all of it. Unfortunately, here in America, they spend more than all of it. And that's why many Americans are in debt. They make 100 grand a year, they spend 110 grand a year. All their money and 10,000 extra on credit cards. Don't do that. Crush it in active income. Make a gazillion dollars. Buy your dream house. Have your great hobbies like golfing, which is not a great hobby. It sucks. Mark Twain says golf is a long walk ruined. So, not a fan of golfing. I would prefer surfing. But do whatever it is your dream life is. Cool. But now that you've got extras, don't go blow it. Invest in passive income. Or what you can do with your extras is the third type of income in real estate, which is called interest income. And what interest income is when you play the bank. When I start lending you money and you start paying me back with interest, I am now what's called a private lender, and we're going to talk about that in this program, and I'm collecting what's called interest income. I took my money, I lent it out like I'm a bank, and they pay me back interest, and then eventually all my money back with interest. So let's just say that I loaned out $100,000 at 10% interest. That means at the end of that deal, I will have made my 100 grand back plus $10,000, 10% interest. And so why that's attractive for some of us who have cash is, where else would I leave my money? Sitting in a CD, right? Getting 0.25%. That's not where I'm going to want to get. That's not even hedging against inflation. So interest income, I typically lend my money out at 10 to 15%. Fair private money is anywhere between 8 and 12%. We talk about that here in this program. But one of the attractive parts, and this might be a 5-year plan for you. For now, grind it out. make as much active income as you can. Then start diversifying, active, passive, active, passive. Now you got oodles of cash. You're sitting in a checking account or a savings account with money in it, and you realize that that's not performing. Your money isn't working for you. You can start loaning it out to other investors and charging interest income. So 50,000 foot overview looking down on real estate investing. What type of money do I want to make? Active, passive, or interest income. Now this program is all about active income. I'm going to show you how to make, watch this, ready? Not just active income, massive income. I like that one. Massive income, because you can do this as many times as you want. The good news about investing in real estate is there's no limit on how many times you can do it. So you guys can wholesale one house a year. You can wholesale one house a day. Totally your call, but you can turn this active income into massive income if you'd like to. Go ahead. Now let's go from 50,000 foot overview down to like a 10,000 foot overview. Now that you know what type of money there is to be made investing in real estate, the next question is, what type of real estate do you want to own? So you're like, okay, I want active income, Cole. I want to buy and flip, or I want to wholesale. Fantastic. There are really three different types of real estate. There's residential, there's commercial, and then there's land, right? I could put any type of real estate investment strategy in there. You're like, oh, what about storage units? Well, you probably own the land and then put commercial storage units on top. So no matter how creative, what about mobile home parks? Well, that's residential. If you own the land, that's residential. So no matter what type of real estate investing, it's one of these three categories. So now that you're like, okay, I want massive income, Cole, right? And later next year, I'll start buying some passive income. And 5 years from now, when I got oodles of cash, a nice rental portfolio, I'll start lending it out, charging interest income. That's my 5-year plan. Next 24 months, dedicate it to massive income. 3rd year, add some rental properties in. 5th year, start lending it out. Cool. And I don't necessarily think that's the plan for everybody, but that would be a great 5-year plan. 5 years from the moment you're watching this video, you're flipping houses like crazy, you own a bunch of rentals, and you're lending your money out. That'd be a great 5-year goal. That doesn't mean you don't make money in 5 years. You can go flip a house tomorrow. I'm just saying, you get it. Now that you know that that's your plan, okay, are you going to target flipping houses? Are you going to target flipping buildings like commercial real estate? Or are you going to flip land, right? And when I say flip, in this program, again, we're talking about wholesaling, because you can do that for all of them. So just to be clear, what is residential is any building that has 4 units or less. So this is just an FYI. Write this down if you're taking notes, which, by the way, I believe that there are probably 80 videos after this one coming up ahead. You should probably be taking notes. As you can tell, I speak quickly, and it's just boom, 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 boom. I'm not here to tell you stories. You didn't pay for stories. You paid for information. So it's probably best when you dedicate time to watch these videos to have a little notepad and a pen ready, because I'm just going to hit you guys with this like it's an encyclopedia. I'm not here to waste your time or mine. I don't want to record this video for 35 minutes when I could teach you what you need to know in 15, right? I could tell you 20 minutes of stories if you'd like about all the massive income I'm making, my passive rental portfolio, but you don't care, because my real estate portfolio does nothing for you. How to build one does. So I hope that you appreciate that. Let me know. Shoot me a Snapchat. Again, this is me here at Cole Hatter. Shoot me a message or send me an email and let me know if you like that the videos are going to be straight to the point, anywhere between 7 and 20 minutes, high content, fast pace, and you can slow this down. If I'm talking too quickly for you, you can go to half speed. I listen to myself in 2x because I can't stand hearing what I already said. But anyway, you guys get the point. Here we go. For residential, write this down. It's 4 units or less. So a house, we call that an SFR, single family residence. A duplex, that's 2 units. A triplex, that's 3 units. Or a quad, that's 4 units. That's all considered residential real estate. Now, when you go from a 4 unit or a fourplex to a 5 unit, you just crossed the threshold and became a commercial property. Commercial real estate is defined as any property that has 5 units or more. So a 5-unit apartment building is called commercial. A 5,000-unit apartment building is called commercial. So what is residential? 4 units or less. A house, well, that's 1 unit. A condo or a duplex, that's 2 units. A triplex, that's 3 units. A fourplex, that's 4 units. That's all residential. Commercial is multifaceted. So watch this. If I own a 20-unit apartment building that people live in, pop quiz, 20 families live in my building. Is that residential or is that commercial? Well, I just got done telling you that's more than 5 units, so it's commercial. But that's weird, Cole, because it's a commercial building with people living in it. Yes, and that, write this down, is called multifamily units. So when you have 5 units, 20 units, 2,000 units, 5 million units, it doesn't matter. When people are living in it, it's called multifamily, and that is commercial. So even though it's a people residing in it in their residential units, because there's more than 5 units in the same building, it's called commercial real estate, and we call that multifamily. Another type of commercial real estate is office buildings. You guys probably are watching this video and may have a job in an office building. You know what that is? Somebody owns that building. You might not stop to think about this, but for any of you who have ever worked in an office, whether you were in a cubicle or in an office or wherever you were, somebody somewhere owned that building, and the company that you were working for most likely leased that space. Some of you may work for people who own their own business, their own buildings, like Apple, for instance. Apple up in Cupertino, or how do you say it, Cupertino, wherever the heck Apple is up there in the Silicon Valley. That they own their own building. They built it from the ground up. But many buildings, just in companies, go and lease their space. So that is an option for passive income, is for you guys to go out there and buy commercial buildings that are, 25,000 square foot building, 3 stories. The top floor is an attorney's office that pays you rent. The middle floor is a dental office that pays you rent. And the bottom floor, half is an H&R Block and the other half is a chiropractic office. You guys know what I'm talking about. Someone owns those buildings. That's a great way to build passive income through commercial properties. However, you can also wholesale those. So if you want to buy it and hold it, you're now collecting passive income. If you want to put it under contract and flip it, that's now massive or active income. So that's 2 types of commercial I've already given you. Number 1 was multifamily. Number 2 was commercial. The next is retail. That's also part of commercial. If you've ever seen strip malls where there are 1,000 square foot office condo types, where one is an H&R Block, one is a Happy Nails, get your nails done. The next one is a hair cutting place. The next, you know what I'm talking about. You pull into a parking lot, and there's 7 shops in a row. That's also commercial. That's called retail. And then the last part of commercial is warehousing. Right? You can go and buy a big shell building that's just walls and warehouse it. When I stored my boat, it was in a warehouse. It was, that thing was huge, probably 100,000 square feet. There were probably 50 boats, 50 RVs, 50 cars, and what we would do is we would pay people to store our stuff for us. Somebody owned that building, and then they started a business of leasing space so that my boat would be in a covered, air-conditioned building, so it wouldn't be getting beaten down in the sun or getting rained on or wind blowing leaves into it when I'm not using it when it's not on the lake. That's an example of a commercial real estate opportunity where you get a big warehouse and you lease it out to somebody who would need that much space, if that makes sense. So that's the 4 areas of commercial that I mess with. There are some others, but we don't need to go there. So just a quick recap. If people are living in it, it's called multifamily. If people are running their companies out of it, it's called office buildings. If you own a bunch of a strip mall where there's a bunch of little businesses, that's called retail. And if you own a warehouse, it's called a warehouse. And the last one's land. I'm pretty sure you don't need an explanation on what land is. It's the thing you're standing on. Someone owns it, either the city, the county, or a person. There isn't any land up for grabs, at least not here in America, that's undocumented and nobody knows who owns it. So wherever your little butt is sitting right now, that chair is, or the house or wherever, if you go deep enough, somebody owns that dirt. Either you do, because it's your house, your tenant does, because you're a renter, or the city or the county that you live in owns that land. And so there's a tremendous opportunity flipping land contracts as well. It's no different than residential. You put a house under contract, you can wholesale it. You put a piece of land under contract, you can wholesale it as well. So let's back up and talk about this. When you're picking a strategy, first things first, what do I want to do? The whole point of this program is to fill your pockets with money. I hope you're okay with that. That's called active income. Another strategy is passive income. I would do that in a year or 2. The last one is interest income. You can do, let's just say you freaking make $1 million this month. Well, then go buy rental properties and lend it right now. I don't want to put time parameters and have you have limiting beliefs. Go make as much money as you want. Now that you've decided, okay, I want to make active income. I want to wholesale. I want to be the freaking just G of wholesaling. I want them to tell stories about me. I want A&E to put me on that next Flip This House show. Right on. Now that you know that that's what you want to do, are you going to go flip houses? Or are you going to wholesale houses? Are you going to wholesale commercial? Are you going to wholesale land? Or all of the above? I recommend picking a niche and sticking with it first. So for your first handful of deals, I'd pick one, probably residential. Why? Because there's the most of it. There's more homes available for sale than there are commercial buildings or land. So if I'm going to give you a tip or a piece of advice, stick with houses for now. Pick a niche, find an area, build a presence, get your brand out there, let people know you're in town. Then, once you've wet your whistle and are getting good at wholesaling, start doing some commercial deals, start doing some land deals, go nuts. Now you're making cash, go buy some passive and interest income, and that is the progression of being a real estate investor. So this has been called Picking a Strategy. We're going to talk about a lot in these upcoming videos, bird dogs, RIA groups, and things like that. I hope you enjoy.